Hello, welcome back to my corridors. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my corridors. You can plainly see I've organized it a little bit and changed the location. I have my manga right there next to Rey and Kylo Ren, and I got all my Monster High dolls I had when I was younger, standing and sitting, and I wanted to display them because I like them. Oh, before I get started with this video, I have an announcement to make. I have a Patreon. So if any of you want to support me on Patreon, it will be in the link down below. I mean, you don't have to. I'm not saying you should, or I'm not going to make you. But if you want to support me on Patreon, I am all for that. Because right now I really need money. Because I'm still furloughed from my job, which I'm probably going to quit, if they don't call me in. So if any of you want to support me on Patreon, go for it. It'll be in the link down below. So today I'm going to be talking about something. Well, the reason why I thought about this topic was because I was reminded of a teacher I had when I was going to private school, when I was in middle school. She was like a lady that taught aftercare, after school care at school. So whenever somebody was like, hey, Miss, I'm not going to say her name, Miss So-and-so, can I listen to my music? She'd be like, sure, but I want to listen to it to make sure it's school appropriate. And so if it wasn't school appropriate, she would make them, I laugh every time I tell the story, she would make them play it out loud for everybody to hear. And she'd be like, this is not school appropriate. So that made me wonder, is metal school appropriate? Well, for starters, I guess when it started out, it wasn't, because a lot of people thought oh my god, it's gonna make kids evil, or it's gonna plant evil into the brains of children. But I don't think it's that bad if you understand it. My argument is, if it's a tolerant school, if it's an open-minded school, I guess yes it is, but any music in general can be not school appropriate, like the pop stars, stripping each other. So I guess I think any form of music could, I could see why schools would ban them, but mainly I'm not sure how they feel about metal, but I've heard stories of people saying their t-shirts got banned, their Cannibal Corpse shirts got banned for being too inappropriate. Well, I totally understand that, the blood and everything, but I guess it is yes and no school appropriate, but depending on, I don't know, what you wear, the subgenre. I guess you can go to school wearing your, I don't know, Adventure Time shirt and go home wearing your metal shirt, or vice versa. Or I understand, parents are not wanting their kid to wear metal shirts to school. But the idea is, whenever I try to abide by the dress code whenever I was younger. This was before I got all my gory shirts. The grossest one I had was in my obituary shirt, which I got that my senior year of high school. And I only got one look, and it wasn't from a teacher, it was just from another student. So the idea, I guess, is metal school appropriate? Yes and no. But it seems to get pissed on at school a lot, because there's highly religious teachers who are like, no, it's gonna make you a Satanist, or very closed-minded people. But thankfully my high school was very open-minded towards different people, even though I was literally the only metalhead there. Trust me, I was. But I didn't get any hate. I wasn't sent to the principal's office, for the music I was playing, because my teachers were understanding. They were open-minded. They know that every kid's different. I was never sent to school counseling because of my music taste, so I guess it was okay. But I mean, the teacher I had in middle school, I mean, my music taste was like okay. I was mainly listening to Rush and, mainly classic rock bands and like only the beginning music of metal, which, man, I understand like some bands because I did go to a very religious middle private school when I was younger, so I understand if like Venom would have gotten me sent to the principal's office for like having the word Satan in it. But I guess my argument is middle school appropriate? It depends. How do schools feel about metal? That also depends. It just, depends on where you're living, depends on like diversity. Diversity is, an important part in that. But I'm not saying there can be diverse schools where they can be dicks. I swear. But at the same time, it's you just need to. I just advise you to follow the dress code if you want to listen to metal at school. Listen to it on headphones. Like, I admit it's funny to play your music out loud, because I swear I like to get people's reactions. I like to piss people off, but if it gets too far, then I will stop. But I'm very respectful of other people's surroundings. I know that there's a time and place for everything. And the only time I would ever play my music is when they would say, "Hey, what are you listening to? Can I hear it?" That's the only time. They'd be like, "Whoa, that's really interesting." So yeah, I guess I know I've said this over and over, but it depends, like, on how metal appropriate for school, or how schools feel about it. It just depends, and I will admit it kind of does give a bad reputation, but I've seen that, die down. I haven't seen a lot of shit for it now, because it's 2020. I think people have given up their primitive ways, because, I know, like, school shooters have listened to a certain amount of music, and like school counselors are wanting to know what music they're listening to if they are like planning to hurt anybody. But I totally understand that, but I haven't really seen that a lot happen, and I don't think it's just not fair to assume, like, well, I guess this is an argument for another day. It's not fair to assume that just because you're a metalhead you're gonna shoot up a school, because I totally understand, but that's something else. But yeah, I guess that's it. I guess, for the appropriateness, I believe any music can be like good or bad, like no matter what. Like, even if you don't listen to metals, like, your music could, alarm teachers or students or whatever. It really depends on the environment. I don't think everybody will hate you. I don't think, well, of course, not everyone's going to, be tolerant of that, but I'm living in a town where it's very tolerant, and there's much diversity and open-mindedness, so I'm not going to experience it anytime soon, because, well, of course, I'm in college. That ain't going to happen to me. So, yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Or if you want to join my Patreon, go for it. And I will see you later, and stay metal.